enough with this. Let's switch and move on to our next match. It's gonna be Lithium against Vohlt. And
of these duelists actually sitting comfortably at the top of their group at the moment. A win apiece. Of course, we have Vohlt with the Sky Striker deck against Lithium, who is bringing...
Lithium is bringing Dogmatika. And I'm really curious to seeing basically how Lithium will be interacting with the Sky Striker player. From what we saw previously, Sky Striker won against Dragon Link, especially because of all the interruption the deck has. The deck is very good at playing against all the current decks that we have in the format.
Yeah, I think Sky Striker, again, just the fact that it's like that pseudo kind of control playstyle, while also being very, very fast and very rapid fire quick, does mean that some of the other decks do get left by the wayside while they're still trying to set up. I do wonder, is Dogmatika one of those? Would you consider Dogmatika to be a little bit slower than some of the other decks we're seeing this tournament?
Well, on one hand as well, I have to say that Dogmatika I will considering as a control deck, because basically you really want to focus on having on the field cards such as the Dogmatika Ecclesia and also the Dogmatika Punishment, which is a very powerful card. But from what we have seen this weekend, most of our players basically relied a lot on the field spells. I'm thinking about Flowanderis, for example, that we saw before with the Flowanderis Advent of Adventure. Then Umi as well with the Legendary Ocean, Madolce with the Madolce Chateau. There are a lot of decks that play with field spell this weekend, but also Sky Striker is another deck that plays with field spell, which is the Area Zero. So a lot of our players this weekend have this, let's say, sort of strategy relying on the field spell itself. Lithium is not, and is starting things off with Lightning Storm, which is super, super powerful, because as we can see, Sky Striker is a control deck, but it really needs his resources on the field.
And this Sky Striker ace has sadly already been infinite impermanent, and as such, Lithium could very well run away with things here if this Dogmatika Macabre is able to bring out something equally as formidable.
Yeah, because basically here with the preparation of rights, Lithium is actually considering what is the lineup we'd like to go for. Because with the Shizuku being on the field, this means that when and if Lithium will get rid of it, there will be the Sky Striker Ace Ray being summoned from the graveyard, which is something that really needs to consider. But the Diviner of the Herald, which is very, very powerful, because we have seen that he can send the Herald of the Arclight from the extra deck to the graveyard and gets to search basically one of his ritual spell card from the deck.
That is a one-card combo starter, essentially. And it means that with this infinite impermanence effect still lingering on the side of Vohlt, Lithium now has free reign to summon probably whatever he wants.
And also what I really like about Lithium deck is when you're playing a deck that most of the players might not be familiar with, you don't really know how to play against it. Because basically you might be familiar with decks such as Branded Despia, Swarsoul, the Sky Striker, for example, which has, let's say, very known. But Dogmatika, you might be underestimated, and in the moment when you underestimate a deck, you might be losing to it. So, with that being said, this is very powerful, because as we saw also in Lithium previous match, this won in games, and here with the Nadir Servant, I think Lithium picked up a very, very good start, because now he also might have the chance to send from his extra deck the Elder Entity NTSS. Of course, this will not be so needed at the moment, but because he already sent the Titanic Lad from the extra deck to the graveyard this turn, and he will resolve it afterwards. But he will also get the White Relic of Dogmatika. And here we are seeing the consistency of the deck, that I really like, because he is playing 3 copies of the Preparation of Rights, and playing also the Diviner of the Herald as you mentioned before, is one of these interactions that you really want to splash, and also seeing in the Drytron deck, something that you don't really expect to see, here is gaining him a lot of advantage.
Yeah, now we also have the second of the major Dogmatika ritual monsters hitting the field. Really, well, they're not too scary considering all of these monsters, as of this moment, have 0 attack points, but, you know,
Now,
the effects add up.
and also what I really liked and we just witnessed is that basically Lithium was able to select an extra deck monster from Vohlt and send it to the graveyard, which was the Kagari. And this means that he will not be able, as for the moment, to go for the Kagari later on.
Yeah.
Lithium, I think, started things off incredibly well. Because basically here, having now both of the rituals on the field, and basically now you also get the floor release, which is very powerful, because basically once he's on the field, you get the chance to negate one monster on the field. And of course, Lithium monsters were losing attack points, now is not the case anymore. I think now you can go into battle phase, exactly, that's what he's doing.
Okay. Is there a response from Vohlt?
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, Ghost Rogue and Snow Rabbit, something that we don't get the chance to see quite often. But still, I really like it, because Sky Striker is one of these decks that can really afford to play different and multiple cards, such as Ash Blossom, Ghost Rogue, Snow Rabbit, Fact Veiler. And in this situation, it was good. I'm still considering that when going to battle phase, Lithium, you can tell that he is thinking, I think you should go anyway to attack over it. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think he will continue the attack anyways.
And I think we'll just swap over to seeing the outcome of Renebrain vs Elgardian Kelta.
Yeah, Elgardian Celta was able to come back, and I mean, from what we saw, it was left at top deck with the Access Code Toka, but he was able to fight back. I was really curious to seeing how that happened. But back to our Lithium and Vohlt, here the Kaina is being summoned.
Yeah, because the Kagari is no longer an option, so
Exactly.
you get to see the Kaina, which is not one you see every day, but...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of these extra deck cards you rely on when you really need to. You don't, as you mentioned, it's not one of these cards that you really keep summoning as often as you would do for Kagari or Shinzuku, for example, or the Ayate as well. But in this case, I think it was a very good sort of interruption.
How come? Tell me why it was a good option here.
It was a good option because basically after having declared attack on the Shinzuku, he got rid of it, and then the Sky Striker Ace Ray was brought back to the field, and basically with the Ecclesia you are able to get over the Ray, but if you activate his effect, basically you are able to link summon one Sky Striker card, and the Kaina basically prevents the Virtus Ecclesia to attack over it, which I think was a very smart play from Vohlt. But still, from what we saw and witnessed, Lithium started things off incredibly well.
Do you think there are any other smart plays that Vohlt can perhaps pursue to claw this game back? Because right now, the Sky Striker player seems to be in a bit of a difficult situation.
He really needs something. Okay, this is already something. So, as we mentioned, field spells this weekend are very powerful. And now he gets to search this Sky Striker Space Area 0. What he's really looking for is, for example, an engage, a multi-roll. It will also be ideal to reveal something with the Area 0 if he really gets the chance to. Let's see, now he activates the Area 0. Ooh, instead of going for the field spell effect, he goes with the Afterburners. So he will get rid of one of his opponent monster. this is a very interesting choice because basically now he gets rid of the White Knight of Dogmatika, and this is a very smart play because by the moment that Vohlt controls more than 3 spell cards in the graveyard, he can use the second effect of the Afterburners to get rid of his own Area 0 to bring the Rai on the field. I really like this play because basically now he can potentially go into the Hayare if he really wants to attack his opponent directly. He goes for the Shizuku, and now he will have the chance to attack over, I think, the Dogmatika Ecclesia de Virtus.
I believe the Nightmare Unicorn was just sent from the extra deck to the graveyard.
Yeah, and I think this is what makes Lithium deck unique. I really like the fact that he has the chance to basically look at his opponent extra deck and select every single time a card to send from the extra deck to the graveyard. And playing against a deck such as Sky Striker, which is a control deck, it takes time to establish his field and take advantage of his opponent. Losing resources like this, it is a really very problem for Vohlt. Now he goes with the Maximus, and of course the Shizuku is on the field and all the monsters are losing attack and defense points. Still, I think that with the Widow Anchor in hand, Vohlt is not sitting in a very quiet and position, because Lithium once again is continuing to activating his ritual monster effect.
Applying the pressure consistently, and look at that, this is going to be a difficult one for Vohlt.
Yeah, he's reducing constantly his opponent extra deck, and I really like this because basically the more cards he gets rid of, the more he gets advantage into this game. And now we will have the chance once again to seeing the White Knight of Dogmatika being summoned. Lithium is taking some time.
Okay,
here it comes.
Dogmatika, as you said.
Yeah, once again, I think this is a very smart move from Lithium. And we mentioned it at the beginning of the game. Both of these decks are control decks, but what Lithium deck does is basically keep having your resources on the field constantly and get rid of your opponent's strategy, because basically Sky Striker is based on, you know, of course, of the spell cards he plays, but all the link monsters that are essential to the deck. So now he will activate Rise effect, and let's see what's left in the extra deck. Okay, he goes for the Ayare. I think Lithium played well not getting Ring of Them, because basically Ayare in this situation is not useful at all.
Yeah.
And here he gets to Chain Link 1, the White Relic, Chain 2, the White Knight, sending another Entity NTSS to the graveyard, sends another extra deck card from Vohlt side to the graveyard, another Ayare. Very good start from Lithium.
Yeah. And you have to imagine that this is almost game. 1,000 life points between Lithium taking game 1 of this match.
Yeah, I really liked how Lithium played. Of course, Vohlt has a couple of cards that he might be drawing. Lithium...
Okay, tell me what kind of cards could get Vohlt out of this situation?
Well...
Okay.
Okay, next time.
Yeah.
Next time, maybe.
Not any of the ones he drew, evidently, but... Yeah. Okay, no, that was a really entertaining back and forth duel, at least. Like, I'm really excited to see how this match ends up.
That was a very interesting game 1. I think especially Lithium played very well.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you previously, I think he has an advantage in the sense that if you don't really know how to play against a deck like Dogmatika, You might not be familiar with the cards, but what I really like about Lithium deck is not only it is a control deck, but with the ritual monsters being on the field, you're basically able to get your opponent's extra deck resources to the graveyard. And in this kind of matchup, Sky Striker really relies on these cards.
Yeah.
And basically, if you get rid of cards such as Kagari and Shizuku, the Ayar itself doesn't do anything.
Yeah, of course, the
So
Sky Striker kind of goal is to tag in, tag out, and yeah, at that point.
exactly, your opponent's strategy is basically shut off. But without no further ado, our players are ready. Let's go into game 2.
Maybe another case of an unfortunate group draw for one of these participants at least. Vohlt matching up against Lithium and getting completely shut out of everything.
But looks like he didn't go for the Shizuku in the end phase. I don't know what happened, honestly. Ah, he might have clicked on the automatic process, because basically he played so fast. And maybe by mistake, I think he selected the automatic. I don't know, because wow, there's the call by the grave. Because indeed, as I was mentioning to you guys, if he would have gone for the, I think you go 100% for the lineup Rei, turn 1 Shizuku, but I think he was shaking his head. So maybe by mistake he selected the automatic play. So didn't have the chance basically to go into the Shizuku. And here he gets punished by the call by the grave, which is very, very powerful, because he doesn't get the chance to special summon the Shizuku on the field.
Yeah. Upstart Goblin coming through should just be a card. Did Vohlt draw what he needed to? Doesn't look like it.
Okay,
So
Power of Desires being activated. This is huge in the sense, wow, Ash Blossom. You usually activate Power of Desires into Sky Striker when the situation is not in your favor, in the sense that getting 10 cards banished, of course, is, let's say, a trade-in. You banish 10 to get 2 cards, but usually you go to activate your Sky Striker Engage Horned Drones first, in order to prevent not to banish them. Unfortunately, for Vohlt, Lithium had the Ash Blossom. Let's see if Lithium manages somehow to find something out of his deck, such as the Dogmatika Cliche, the Virtuous, or Nadir Servant. Sangan, for example, could be very good alongside with the Diviner of Herald. He has a lot of different options. But he doesn't. Wow.
Yeah, that is unfortunate situation. I am quite curious to see what Lithium has face down on his side of the field at the moment. Are there any additional responses?
And the Area Zero being activated gives him very good average here, because with the multi-roll being activated, he can go multi-roll, destroying the Area Zero. That's, I think, what he will do. Does Lithium have Maxi? He does. Lithium has the Maxi, and this is good in this situation. It is not so powerful against Sky Striker, but it will draw 1 card for sure, maybe 2 cards. Let's see. What you usually do here is going for the Ray, attack, then in the battle phase you use Raise effect to go for the Ayare, deal another 1500 damage, and then into Memphis 2 you can either get back the cards you've just sent with the Ayare, with the Kagari, and then basically into the end phase you are able to set multi-roll, so at least a couple of spells, and then search for Shizuku. And what I really like is that basically you can put multi-roll and set first, and then search for Shizuku.
So, from the Sky Striker perspective, there is a really clear way of playing out this game, at least.
Yeah.
But speak to me from Lithium's side, because the Dogmatika deck, it has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. Tell me how you get a clear advantage in this game.
So Lithium might be holding a copy of Infinite Impermanence, which I think it's most likely might be holding one, because basically he didn't activate anything at the moment. He might be holding as well a Dogmatika punishment, even if okay, indeed, he might be he might be holding, and he does. This is I'm still thinking if he would have activated the punishment when the multi-roll was activated, because then he would have prevented Vohlt to summon the Ray.
Yeah.
He could have gone punishments and the Elder Entity NTSS to destroy both the multi-roll and the set card if he really wanted to. Still, I think this is very good, because basically Vohlt now goes into the end phase. Indeed, Lithium had both impermanence and punishment, that made sense. And now the Shizuku gets negated by the Infinite Impermanence.
Okay. And now Lithium's just gonna do his best to build a field for himself against what Vohlt has already put down. How do you think Lithium proceeds here? What is the kind of ideal Dogmatika starter right now?
So he drew fresh cards with Maxi, but given that he's normal summoning Ash Blossom, okay, we also see a Maxi being activating all the fleur-de-lis. This might hurt a lot, because as we saw, Lithium is also able to get different special summon in one single turn. Not something that is ideal for sure. I'm still wondering why Lithium basically decided to go for the Ash Blossom, because he's going now for, he's entering battle phase.
You have to imagine he's going to synchro summon something. It is, yeah, a very, very difficult thing to wrap our heads around, but there's still a main phase 2 with which to summon something.
I think Lithium had a plan which was disrupted by Maxi, because when your opponent activates Maxi, you can't really give him so much advantage. Now Vohlt goes with the Ray, and I think from what we saw during this game, although there was not that much going on in the very first turn, I have to give credit to Vohlt for being in this game without, pushing much. Lithium is shaking his head because there's not much that he can do at the moment. The engage being added for the Shizuku is very, very powerful.
I mean, conversely, is there much that Vohlt can do besides play that engage?
So he might go for engage, search him. He sets just one. Okay, he goes for the multi-roll, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because at least it will prevent Lithium to activate anything on his Sky Striker cards. He goes for the engage. Lithium cannot respond because the multi-roll was activated. Vohlt should be having at least 3 spells in the graveyard, which means that he could have also the other engage. Exactly. He has 3 spells in the graveyard, so he also gets a draw for the engage.
Yeah, and the Widow Anchor is ready to take, presumably, the fleur-de-lis.
He goes for the Kagari, something that I really like, because with this plays, he really needs to get back the engage. Engage searches another one and then draws another card, but he has the impermanence. Something that I really like also, because Lithium was smart enough to set impermanence in the same column of Vohlt card, preventing him to activate his set trap card or spell card. Of course, the impermanence here is good. He has the Widow Anchor in hand, and he also activated one spell during his turn. So you might also consider to go battle phase, get rid of the Ash Blossom, then going to Memphis Shoes at the Widow Anchor. Let's see what he decides to do. Okay, he goes for the Widow Anchor and take the Fleur de Lis.
Yeah.
I like it.
Interesting. But where do we go from here is the question.
I think also here he might be going for, yeah, I think this makes sense, because basically Lithium already activated an Ash Blossom. He might be pushing for Lina, the first time we see Lina in action this weekend, something that we don't really get the chance to see quite often from Sky Striker. Lina, the Light Charm.
We saw Dark earlier as well.
Yeah.
Not from Sky Striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do appear sometimes.
Yeah, and I like it because basically here you can enter battle phase and deal some damage, and then later on you can. Oh, okay, he can normal summon because let's remember that he didn't normal summon yet.
So you have the normal summoned Ash versus the normal summoned Effect Veiler?
Yeah.
As we are going back to see if Lithium can indeed make his comeback against Volt's Sky Striker Onslaught. Celine, of course, bringing back the Effect Veiler. Do you link again into the access code talker and just push for games?
Yeah. This is what you're really looking for at the moment. This is something different that Vohlt opted to, and honestly, I really liked it. Usually Sky Striker has easy access to access code
talker, yeah.
And with that being said, this will be enough to seal game 2, which I think was very well played by Vohlt. But not yet, Lithium says.
Yeah, because if you negate the effect, then it loses the additional attack points.
Yep.
And if it loses the additional attack points, we no longer have 7,500 to seal the deal on this game. Plus, there's a 2,500 defender in the way now.
Not yet, says Lithium, but still.
Okay.
Vohlt not impressed. Battle phase is being declared, and a direct attack will seal this game 2. I think we have to say that even though both of our players didn't have a very, let's say, fast start, in the end Vohlt was able to come back, and I really like the interactions that he used with the Widow Anchor on the Fleur de Lis, and then he did a normal summon, so basically he said, okay, let's just try and push enough damage to seal this game 2, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and really, really competitive game there. Both these players doing what they can to maintain the lead that they currently have in this group. Actually very exciting to see both of the players that won their first game face off. So then after this third game that we're about to see, you have to imagine that we're going to see a clear favorite to escape the group and actually make it into the second day of the tournament.
Yeah. And here, just a few updates from our tables. Schattenspieler is 2 wins and 0 losses, alongside with Dog 7, which is unfortunately lost 2 matches in a row with Flawandries.
Yep, and we're now about to see who will join Schattenspieler in that 2-0 record, as we do see Lithium take on Vohlt in their third game of the day.
And here, unfortunately, we got the chance to see Area Zero in action, but Vohlt only revealed the share cannon. Something that you don't really want to see in your turn 1. You really hope to see some of your Sky Striker Mobilize engage or Sky Striker Ace Ray, something that didn't happen, and indeed Vohlt set 2 Spell or Trap cards and passed on to Lithium.
I'm now very curious to see if Lithium has a better kind of combo starter than we saw previously. Of course, the Sun Gun was his opening play earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Sun Gun into Salamangre Armirage. And that is exactly what we're going to see again. How does this continue to play out, however?
So, I think playing Sun Gun in this deck is very smart, especially because you get the chance to basically add maybe Ash Blossom. Exactly. Just to let you guys a small heads up.
As we do have Lithium take on Vohlt to really see how this one plays out. Again, Lithium kind of replicating the state of play that he did earlier in the day. Leading in with the Salamangre Almirage. And then just taking things slow and seeing how this one plays out. Vohlt does manage to drop the effect Veiler, negating the effect of the Dogmatika Maximus. So time will tell just how this one does manage to resolve. So Maximus now negated.
Yeah. Here, Lithium goes Battle Phase, and once again, we should be seeing Area 0 being activated. Vohlt really needs to find something out of his deck. We have seen Ash Blossom being added by Lithium, and this is something that I really like about Sun Gun, which is very versatile card. It basically gives you access to all of these key cards, such as Maxi, Diviner of the Herald, Memphis 1. Now, I think Vohlt will be going for the Area 0.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine so.
Yeah, and he now really needs to reveal something out of his deck.
What would be the ideal card to reveal, do you think?
Ooh! He has the card we have seen already, the Cow Scepter Blast. Incredible card. And I think this was really the card Lithium was looking for. This is incredible in this situation, because basically you get to banish the Area 0. And having the Ash Blossom in the hand, it also means that Vohlt now is ending his turn left with 1 Share Cannon, and we don't know the other remaining card, but still very, very good stuff here from Lithium, which is now considering his turn, because basically now he can go for Maximus. Yeah.
Infinite Impermanence does come through. Again, the Maximus getting its effects negated.
And I think here Vohlt really wants to stay in this game and try to do his best. It's not going to be easy for sure, because now Lithium also has the Diviner of the Herald. How powerful this card is, we have seen it already in action this weekend. But Ash Blossom is being activated now. And also, wow, incredible, because now Lithium goes with the Crossout of Designator, and I think Lithium really started things off very, very well. We have already mentioned the experience that he has when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! He's a very experienced player, and in general, he is showcasing us how powerful his Dogmatika deck is. And now the Herald of the Arclight gets resolving. He will most likely be summoning either one of the ritual Dogmatika monsters he's playing, either the White Relic or the White Knight.
So tell me a bit about how Lithium closes this one out, and how Vohlt can respond to facing down this seemingly endless swarm of Dogmatika monsters.
So on one hand, I think Lithium really needs to pay attention that even one single Sky Striker Mobilize engage might be changed the game, or also Sky Striker Ace Ray might be the exact same thing as drawing into an engage. On the other hand, I think that this deck really takes his time to control the situation. Let's see if Lithium now... Okay, he enters battle phase. I think this makes sense. It just deals some damage. He has the White Knight in defense and deals some damage, and also because Vohlt is left at top deck.
Let's see what Vohlt can get from this, because yeah, this is a very intimidating prospect to have to kind of stare down. A lot of options on the field for Lithium right now.
And now he also goes for the Dogmatic Liquidation of the Virtues, he adds the Fleur-de-Lis, and with this setup, I think Lithium is more than satisfied. Now Vohlt gets a new fresh card. Can he find any copy of the Sky Striker Ace Ray or the Sky Striker Mobilize Engage? Let's see what he can pick up. We know that he has only the Shark Cannon at the moment, not useful at all.
Yeah, honestly, looking at Volt's options right now.
He goes with the Ghost Ogre, and I think that Vohlt has seen enough. Lithium wins 2-1 and advances with 2 wins and 0 losses.
Not necessarily advancing out of the group, but still in a very good place to do so. He takes sole position of the top of that group, and he looks really good while doing it. That Dogmatika punishment was relentless.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Lithium really showcased us how the deck is powerful, because basically at the beginning we said that if you don't really know how to play against a certain deck, you might be facing difficulties while playing against it. But I think both these games were very, very tight. And what I really liked is Lithium didn't lose his composure, and now is advancing with 2 wins into his 3rd round. But now it's back to Ed.
And the winner of that round is Lithium. So a big congratulations to Lithium. We're now going to walk on over to our interview area and have a very quick chat with Lithium, who's just won that round. Come on over, sir. Now, how are you feeling?
Hey.
How was that for you?
Stressy. Yeah, I know. I mean, Striker is an okay matchup simply because it's so reliant on the extra deck. And game 1 was superb with all the rituals, destroying the extra deck, so the deck definitely put in work.
Absolutely. And then in that final game as well, you seem to have a pretty good opportunity just building that field. That second game did seem to go on what felt like forever.
Yeah, it was really close, but I forgot that I activated the Dogmatika trap during the previous turn. So I normal summoned Ash and tried to use my extra deck. But I forgot that I was blocked from the extra deck, and that's where it went downhill.
You went downhill from there, but you brought it back in that third game, so here we are in the winner's circle. So things are obviously going well.
Crazy stuff.
So that's your 2nd win now, correct? So you're now 2-0.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good likelihood that you might be going on through to that next round. So I guess we have one more duel just to 100% see. But you feeling good about that?
Yeah, the next one is Dragon deck, also heavily reliant on the extra deck. So hopefully, who knows? Yep.
Hopefully, who knows? We'll all find out together, so don't go anywhere, because those duels are coming up very, very soon. But without wasting any more time, we're going to throw back to that card game action that I talked about just a little bit ago. Guys, back to you.